Hi, I'm Alptram. Let's assume you like Brutal Doom and what it brings to your table, but you don't want to play Doom or Doom 2. What do? Well, I have good news for you. There are similarly red and destructive mods for GZDoom. This source port has enough power and features for modders to use the Brutal formula. Here are 3 Brutal mods for GZDoom. First, we go back in time a bit. Doom 64 had not been officially released on PC and consoles yet. Players had few options to play it. A. Getting a Nintendo 64 console with the game. B. Using an N64 emulator to run the ROM file. And C. Play its unofficial, reversed engineered PC port Doom 64 EX. Then, on October 2016, Sergeant Mark IV gave us the another option by introducing Brutal Doom 64. Now, I included this one for a couple of reasons. Despite you still launch an onslaught in Doom universe, Doom 64 is different than first original games. In comparison, Doom 64 has a much darker and unnerving atmosphere. Visually and audibly, the game is more leaned on horror than action. As a result, your experience will be somewhat different. Enhanced visuals improve the already well-made atmosphere. While the music is untouched, there are new sound effects to give that brutal oomph. Just like in Brutal Doom, you can pick one of 2 game mods when you start a new game. Standard one if you prefer the vanilla gameplay, and tactical one which lets you sprint and reload your weapons. Obviously, combat is what defines the mod. Let's start off with Arsenal. There are 2 new weapons. First one is an assault rifle. It's fine early in game, when you don't want to use the pistol or chain gun to eat your bullets fast. Second one is a laser gun, ideal for burning your enemies with concentrated laser beam. Rest of the weapons have some changes. For instance, Super Shotgun, the SSG, now has proper reload animations. Also, you can shoot both barrels individually. The Unmaker is changed from a fast-firing laser rifle to a railgun. No longer it uses energy cells, and it has its own ammunition. Getting each demon key increases its damage. Due to limitations of Nintendo 64 back in the day, some monsters were absent from the game, such as Revenant. This mod adds them back in the game. The sprites might look off at first glance, but I think they fit the theme overall. Doom 64 is not so hard. Brutal Doom 64, however, can get punishing. Some enemies are buffed. They can attack and move faster. Nightmare imps and specters can go invisible for a short time, giving you the anxiety you never needed. Such changes in monsters can result in harsh and unfair situations in certain levels, leading to your death. Enemies aren't the only things posing danger. Explosions have more impact, so you have to mind the splash damage and barrels. Luckily, there are 2 versions of Brutal Doom 64. If you're not satisfied with Sergeant Mark IV's final release, you can play the tailored version 2.5. The list of changes is quite big, so I might make another video for comparing both. But nevertheless, Brutal Doom is still recommended if you enjoyed or hope to enjoy Doom 64. Those who are familiar with Hexen might get some flashbacks now. For rest of the people, let me give you some context. Hexen is claimed to be one of the hardest FPS games ever made. Why though? Is it because the combat is challenging? Well, not just combat. You see, Hexen is not a linear game, unlike other tech engine games prior to it. Hexen introduced the players a hub system.
Greetings, mortal. Are you ready to die
After you get mocked by Korax, the main antagonist in the game, you find yourself in the hub area. Most doors are locked at first. You need to collect keys, pull levers, and push buttons to progress further. Unfortunately, such interactions aren't communicated to the player well, meaning, after pulling a lever, you don't easily understand what did that lever do. On top of that, levels designed like mazes just to rub salt into the wound. As a player, you can easily find yourself in where the f do I go now situations. That's Hexen in a nutshell. Let's get to our mod. Brutal Hexen doesn't touch that puzzle part. Instead, it makes the gameplay more complex and enjoyable. In vanilla Hexen, when you start a game, you pick one of three classes: Fighter, who is powerful in close combat, Mage, who uses his staff and destructive spells, and Cleric, who is a mixture of two. After you progress further, you pick up rest of your class-specific weapons. There's a different armor system in Hexen, and armors have different protection values for each class. In Brutal Hexen, classes are more distinguishable from each other by having different attributes. For instance, Fighter can move faster than Mage, and Mage has lower health pool than Cleric. After you pick your class, you can also select one of three starting weapons. Yeah, finally Cleric doesn't have to grab that weak-ass mace. These weapons aren't overpowered, by the way. Brutal Hexen lets the player level up by killing enemies, so you are actually getting stronger without picking up better weapons. Your stats automatically get increased. Some weapons and attacks can only be used at certain levels. Inventory has two new additions to it. Tome of Crafting lets you craft certain items if you have the exact materials. Tome of Mana lets you convert one specific mana into another. You can convert some of those red mana you collect from dead enemies. Going through crafting or converting mana, however, won't pause the game, thus making you vulnerable, so an FN can come up and bash your head in. I need to remind you that you're still playing Hexen, and it takes some time to get used to Brutal Hexen's combat. Even on medium difficulty, you're gonna die. A lot. Even the easiest enemies you encounter early on can deal a lot of damage. As Fighter and Cleric, you can block enemy attacks with your shield. Mages, however, have to be more cautious. You have been warned. In conclusion, Hexen was definitely not for everyone. Same can be said for Brutal Hexen too. Especially if you're not familiar with the original game, I suggest you to play that first and come back later. If you're patient and can take the punishment, go ahead. Finally, we have Zeomech Call's Brutal Wolfenstein 3D, which got a lot of influences from other games in the franchise, and soon you can see why it's a big deal. Instead of Doom Guy, you play as BJ Blazkowicz. Enemies are still evil, but yet often in human forms. Levels, or floors if you wanna call them like that, are not just copied and pasted from original Wolf 3D into Doom 2. The entire 6 episodes and Spear of Destiny has been remade. Having verticality in level design is a good change. Levels are much more detailed. Catacombs and dungeons especially feel more immersive. Floors look much better with new lighting effects, textures, and decorations. Speaking of decorations, most of them can be destroyed. Each episode has a black door. It can only be opened with a black key, and this key gets carried over levels. If you see one of these and you have no black key, you're already too late. Collecting treasures in Wolfenstein games are always fun. Brutal Wolf 3D is going by this trend as well. Finding all treasures on a floor rewards the player. For example, you can get a special weapon as a present. This encourages the player to go on humping walls and looking for every nook and cranny. Due to revision of levels, even if you completed the original game hundreds of times, you will feel like playing a new game and will encounter new secret areas. You will never know what you're gonna get. In combat section, you get what you expect. This mod, however, can surpass your expectations. As Blazkowicz, you get your hands on World War II arsenal. Aside from Luger and MP40, there are many weapons to use for painting purposes. See that suit of armor? That's not just standing there for decoration. You can grab that axe and throw it at a Nazi. This OP attack can instantly kill a guard, and is great for silent takedowns. Ceilings and walls can be dyed with Nazi blood and guts. It's actually impressive how over the top the violence gets in Brutal Wolf 3D. Even a rifle such as Kar 98 can decimate an SS with one shot. Dealing such pain to Nazis can almost make you feel sorry for them. Almost. Some weapons are given to player at the beginning of an episode, such as Thompson machine gun. It makes no sense to find American guns in Nazi Germany, so to keep the gameplay balanced, you can't find certain ammunitions. Once you use your 45 caliber rounds, you probably won't use that Thompson again. Of course, you also need some fresh enemies to shoot at. Brutal Wolf 3D adds a lot more Nazis to deal with. Progressively, you get tougher enemies and more crowded groups. Enemies holding guns don't use hit scan anymore. Yet, on higher difficulties, bullets travel much faster, enemies deal more damage, and health items work less effective. Just like in the original game, if you're unlucky, one single guard can murder you. Hell, even dogs are deadlier now. And don't get me started on mutants. Relying on tactical approach can be necessary. Aiming down the sights can help you with taking down dangerous targets in groups. Leading enemies into a bottleneck is helpful, but you can't always rely on that. Because sometimes the game locks you in certain rooms without giving you enough space to take cover. So you can't cheese by leaving the area to get those health kits you left a few rooms away. At the end of an episode, you fight against its boss. In a word, I would describe boss battles as unfair. Because they play dirty. Not only do bosses have a ton of health and shoot at higher fire rate without flinching, but you can also get interrupted by their minions. Not cool. If you don't want to hassle much, you can go with medium or lower difficulties. Pick I Am Death Incarnate if you're looking for a challenge, or truly hate yourself. But alas, Brutal Wolf 3D is an Uber mod. I confidently recommend it for those who like FPS games. There you have it. GZDoom is regularly updated. It also created new opportunities for people to make their standalone games. For instance, Sulaco, the game you are seeing right now, is running on GZDoom. It's still in development, but you can play its demo on Steam. Who knows what future holds? Thanks for watching and take care.